To our audience members, my name is Kelly O'Brien, and I lead both the Alliance for Regional Development and the Chicago Central Area Committee. The Alliance is focused on the Milwaukee, Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana corridor. The Chicago Central Area Committee is a 64-year-old civic group focused on the planning and development of Chicago. Erica and I have communicated over the years because of the work that I do with the Alliance and the work that, that she does. And she was able to invite Lorri to join us today. And I think it's just going to be a fantastic discussion. So as many of you know, small business and entrepreneurs are the engine of our economy. And we want to be sure that we share information about resources that are available to businesses and business owners and wannabe business owners. This is information that would be helpful during normal business cycles, but we're lucky that we also have information and insights into tools that are available now in these unprecedented times. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce both of our speakers. I'm going to start by introducing Erica, and then I'll introduce Lorri, who I believe will be starting by showing us some slides. So if you're not familiar with Erica, first and foremost, hi Erica. We are really pleased to be able to have you join today, and thank you so much for your previous support of the Alliance for Regional Development. And Erica is the President and Executive Director of the Regional Development Company, the RDC. And the RDC is a certified development company which processes United States Small Business Administration 504 program loans. Now, you may recall it wasn't that long ago that we had the Region 5 head of the SBA. So I really think it's going to be interesting after hearing about these programs, kind of on a Midwest 30,000 foot level, to be able to hear from Erica and the work that she's doing right on the ground. And she came to the position with 10 years of commercial banking experience. She is a lifelong Indiana resident and has accreditations in credit analysis, commercial lending, and of course, SBA lending. She is the former board chair for the Northwest Indiana Forum, another group that the Alliance has worked very closely with, the founding chair for the Northwest Indiana Influential Women's Association, and advisory board member for the Northwest Indiana Small Business Development Center and Chicago Southland Small Business Development Center. So welcome, Erica. Thank you again for having me. And Lorri. Lorri is the Regional Director of the Northwest Indiana Small Business Development Center. She has been in this post for several years. She and her team work with businesses, startups, entrepreneurs, economic development organizations, and her primary footprint, 7 counties in Northwest Indiana. Prior to this role, she had a very distinguished career with the Whirlpool Corporation, and she has served as business and marketing instructors at Purdue University Northwest. I too have served as an adjunct professor there, so that's always really exciting to be with the next generation and being able to share our life lessons and help them be successful in their careers, as well as Indiana University South Bend. And Lorri is active in many businesses and community organizations. So Lorri, welcome. How are you today?
Doing very well. The sun is out. I'm glad to join all of you today. Thanks, Kelly.
Well, thank you. So as I mentioned in the beginning of my introduction, I understand that you have some slides to share with us.
I do, yeah. Let me get those up and going. 1 second, please.
And I'd just like to remind the audience that we are very happy to answer questions. Please use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. If you use the Q&A button, I will do my best to relay your questions to both Lorri and Erica. So Lorri, tell us all about the work that you do.
Okay. So as mentioned, I am from Northwest Indiana, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the Indiana Small Business Development Center, but be aware, every state has an organization like this. So my peers over the border in Illinois or over in Wisconsin have very similar services and resources to offer. And if you're from another state, I'd encourage you to investigate the wonderful things that they're doing and see how that they can best help you. Certainly small business development centers have in common a business advisor team, and we're really fortunate to have a great team of 4 business advisors. And in addition to myself, we offer business counseling, advising. We literally every day, either in person or by video chat like this, are talking with business owners, listening to the things they're dealing with. And of course, they have been on a roller coaster ride the past 6 months or so. And identifying how we can best help them. So who we serve, small business owners, and also, as Kelly mentioned, the field of startups out there. We're really seeing some additional startup activity in the past 2 months that's pretty interesting. So in a nutshell, what we're doing is we're providing business counseling. It's at no charge. We also field a lot of workshops and events, primarily virtual now, trying to identify the topics that are most on the minds of our business owners and making sure they get practical information when they come away from a virtual workshop like that. And lately, of course, given all of the myriad different kinds of disaster loan and other funding options that have come across due to the COVID period, we've been helping a lot with people understanding their options, helping them prepare to apply or identify that right option for them. So, you know, in any normal time or now, a lot of what we do is discussing business plan, whether it's creating one, helping a business owner who's just starting off to develop their plan, or enhancing or improving a plan that they've already started. And the heart of that plan, I think what people knock on our door most with a request for help on is the projections. It's how does the revenue model in this business work? How can I understand better how cash flows in and out of business? So that's the heart of what we do. I'll use an example of just an hour or so ago. I was across the table from a couple of business partners who are working on the cash flow aspect of their business. They have a great vision for what they want to do, but pinning it down in terms of the details of how money works in their business is something they really needed help with. So that's what we were working on today. Certainly, we are also getting a lot of requests for help with marketing. This has been a unique period where consumer and customer behavior is changing. We all feel that. So understanding better how to deploy effective marketing or to do that pivot, get a little more creative with how you approach the market is something people need help with. So we're here to provide that kind of help, point them in the right direction, and provide resources that help them accomplish the pivot they're looking for. Specific to COVID, like most SBDCs, we have received some CARES Act funds. So we're really trying to use those in a most effective and impactful way. And what we've been focused on are a few areas, and I suspect my peers and other SBDCs are very similar in this way. We've identified a few areas where we think we need specialty or expert advising capability. And those areas include digital marketing, social media marketing, and also bookkeeping. One thing that we've really bumped into, certainly as the SBA disaster loan programs were coming out, is a lot of folks didn't have their books in order to the extent they needed in order to effectively apply for some of these programs. So, you know, those newer, younger businesses who may not have paid attention to that aspect of their business really needed help. So we've got specialty advisors in some of these areas who can sit down and assist in that area of expertise that they can really deliver most on. I'll use an example of a partnership. We love partnerships that we've become involved in during the COVID period that I think is pretty cool. Indiana University in Bloomington, their Kelly School of Business, has partnered with SBDCs like mine across the state For COVID affected businesses. They're actually developing a website or enhancing online presence for small business owners through this partnership. So they've actually delivered over 150 new or enhanced websites for small business owners across the state. I think that's pretty cool. A win for students as well. They get great real world experience, and of course the business owner accomplishes some of their digital objectives. Another statewide program I'd like to encourage people to investigate. We've partnered with an organization called Generator. We're on a webinar today. I don't know what you're doing for lunch tomorrow, but the Friday lunch series that we're doing throughout the state is kind of cool. Business resiliency and recovery is the theme. Tomorrow's topic is on the LivePlan business plan software tool. I'm a fan of LivePlan. It's something we use with a number of our clients. And this LivePlan business plan tool has some additional features to help businesses game out cash flow projections during this rocky time of COVID. So I think that might be actually worth tuning in if you're a small business owner in that boat. You could find out more about it by looking up on Facebook, Indiana Economic Development Corp. Our website is isbdc.org. For people looking to have business counseling like I've described, you just click on the blue button. Or of course, like anybody, we have a great COVID link. So click on the COVID link if you're interested in some of those specifically COVID related resources I've mentioned. I wanted to share also, I think a pretty good sort of one-stop shop portal, stayinbiz.org. So stayinbiz.org. These are screenshots, so we don't have to go through that delay that Zoom does if you click on a link. But in our case, this is Indiana's one-stop shop for business recovery resources. It's actually a pretty cool site. I'll scroll down and show you. It's got a lot of the links that people tend to be looking for, whether it's the SBA programs, or in our case in Indiana, we have Restart grants. Other states have very similar programs. I just heard this morning about the business interruption grants that are being offered in Illinois. One-stop shop, a resource like this can really help you identify some resources that might pay off in your business. I'd highly recommend the Minority Small Business series that you can link to from stayinbiz.org. There's some really good content that's being put out there. I know that's a quick review of what the kinds of resources are that Small Business Development Center team members are delivering. I hope that was helpful and open to questions.
Great, Lorri. I know that I have some questions, and I know our audience will. Let's turn to Erica and hear what Erica has to say. The one thing, Lorri, if you could give some thought to, would it be possible for you to share information on your counterparts in the Chicagoland and Milwaukee areas? Because I know we have an audience from all three states, and if people do want to reach out to learn about the similar programs, you can contact me and I'll forward that information. Does that sound fair?
Happy to do that. You bet.
Thank you, Lorri. Erica, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Excellent. Thank you. Do you have slides today?
I do have some information to share, and I can also get you the contact information I have for the SBDCs I work with a lot. Because we've got Vicki Brown in the South Suburbs, who's very active, and then Stacy Caldwell in downtown Chicago, there with the Chicagoland Chamber. So those are probably the two closest and biggest ones for our audience. I don't have Wisconsin though, I'm sorry. Okay. That's the one place we don't go.
And that's a great intro though, to help our audience understand where Lorri is really focused specifically in Northwest Indiana and 7 counties. Your footprint is a little bit larger.
It is. Yes, we cover what I would call the entire Chicagoland region and the entire state of Indiana. And we've done some rural-based loans, one-off loans in Michigan and Missouri. And so we're actually growing quite a bit as far as what we're able to do. And I'll share my screen because I think I've got that in here if I can get it to work. There we go. Maybe.
Great. Yes, we see it.
Okay, awesome. So this is the intro page, and this is where I have my contact info. So if anybody's looking for it, here it is in the beginning. So we've been serving the Chicagoland area for the past 25 years. We've got office locations in both Valparaiso, Indiana, and Homewood, Illinois. And the phone numbers associated with those are found below, along with our website. So we are not new to the game. We've been doing this whole SBA bit for quite a while, and we're, I think, pretty good at it at this point, I hope. So I'll kind of share some information for those that may not know that much about the SBA 504 program that we administer. Now, normally, I would say in pre-COVID, not new normal times, most of what we do is purchase financing. So for people that want to purchase a commercial, owner-occupied commercial property, we can do it for as little as 10% down on a 25-year fixed rate. And our fixed rate as of the September funding was 2.41% all in with fees, which is insanely low. As I'm sure anyone who's, you can't get a home mortgage for as little as our loans are going for right now. We do finance owner-occupied commercial real estate and equipment, and we can do projects anywhere from about $150,000 to $12 million was our largest. So it's quite a range, really, of the types of projects that we finance, as well as the types of businesses that we finance. We have everything from medical facilities to daycare facilities to manufacturers to farms. So if it produces income and it's not naughty or religious, or marijuana related, because that's federally not legal yet, we can pretty much finance it. So that's there's not many types of businesses that aren't eligible. We work in partnerships with banks, and that's how we can get that special 10% down. So this gives you the typical structure that we work with. The bank finances the first half of the project, and then we come in with between 30 to 40%, depending on the type. And the borrower comes up with 10 to 20% down. Now, the majority of our financing is the 10% down. But if we have a special purpose facility, something that's different, like a hotel would be a special purpose facility. There really aren't that many, a cemetery. Then the borrower has to come up with the additional 5%. And if it's a new business under 2 years old, the borrower has to come up with an additional 5%. But I would say the vast majority of the deals we do are the 10% down. And this gives an example of what, with our typical 504 financing, that we're able to finance. So the purchase of a building, construction of a new building, purchase and renovation of a building, and also large equipment. So we've done cranes and MRI machines and printing presses and all kind of fun large equipment that's awesome to go out and photograph, because it's just huge. The only caveats, you have to be a for-profit business, and that's the same for Lorri. The SBA typically only looks to lend money or give assistance to companies that pay taxes. So for-profit businesses only, not non-for-profits. We are not able to finance any residential properties, so no apartment complexes or anything like that, and no investment property. So if you're looking to buy something and lease the whole thing out, we can't finance it. It's truly financing for business owners. And then what we're doing the most of right now is the debt refinance, because people are still struggling to make ends meet. The vast majority of businesses have reopened to at least a certain degree, but we are seeing a lot of them that aren't coming back. The restaurants have capacity limits. They're not coming back as quickly. Daycares, people are homeschooling now, so the daycares aren't coming back as quickly as they would want to. We do see some industries that are still, struggling because of limitations and have a great deal of fear going forward, or have a great deal of credit card and other debt that they've amassed over the last 6 months, trying to keep afloat, and now they can't make payments on all of that. And they're really just digging themselves further into the hole. And that's where our debt refinance program comes in. And we've had a huge amount of success helping businesses recover using this program. You can refinance your existing commercial mortgage that you have on your building. We can do up to 90% loan to value. So we get an appraisal, and your appraisal's $1 million. We can do up to 900,000 of that. 20% can be up to 20% of it can be cash out. So you could take cash out to pay off those credit cards, pay accounts payable that you're behind on, pay down your line of credit, use it however you need to for working capital needs in your business to help you recover. And then we refinance the mortgage at the same time, and then you can re-amortize that over 10, 20, or 25 years. So just like if you refinanced you had a home mortgage for 30 years, and you were 15 years in, you refinance it back out over 30 years, your payments are going to drop. Or you can take cash out and keep your payments a similar amount. So it's really been a great thing for our businesses. An example would be, we just approved and closed someone that had a $190,000 mortgage on their building that appraised for $800,000. So they took $160,000 out of that, refinanced the original mortgage, got $160,000 in cash, and their payments dropped by $400 a month.
Wow.
So now, yeah, they have a huge influx of cash and a lower payment. So that's huge. And we just also had a daycare that had a mortgage and just took out $50,000 in cash. They didn't need as much cash, but they dropped their monthly payment by $1,000 a month. I mean, $12,000 a year is a lot of money to a business.
Absolutely. That's great.
So, yeah, so this is what we're doing really the most of, I would say, right now. And this is how we're doing the kind of helping with the pandemic recovery from COVID. And there's the debt refinance checklist everybody can see. You do have to have had that loan for 2 years and have been current for the past 12 months. And it can't be currently a federal type loan that we're refinancing. And that's all I have for slides.
Well, one question, Erica, and I do again encourage the audience, please use the Q&A button and submit your questions. But Erica, you mentioned in regard to if you wanted to purchase a commercial building, that it's not eligible if it's an investment property. But what if I wanted to start a daycare and have that on the first floor, and it's a 3-story building? Can I lease out the other 2 floors?
You have to occupy, if you're buying a building, you have to occupy 51% of the indoor square footage. So you can't lease out the top 2 floors, but you could lease out the top floor and occupy the other 2. So you've got to get over that 51% criteria.
Excellent, makes sense. So Erica, I'm going to ask you to shut down the screen share. And then Lorri, going back to your presentation, I was really struck by the information that you shared regarding the marketing. And so many firms that either, maybe have out-of-date websites. And as just a little plug, CCAC just redid its website. So visit ccac.org to see the great work that we've done over many years. But in addition to the opportunities to upgrade websites, what other marketing insights are shared, and what kind of assistance is offered?
So certainly every business is different. So it really starts with helping the business owner hone in on what's their target market and what kind of value proposition they're trying to communicate to that audience. And actually, sometimes that's a really important conversation for a business owner to have, to bounce off ideas with. But once that is framed, then we can help more with the tools and tactics, right? Whether it's an improved website or we're seeing a lot of activity around additional apps tied to websites, takeout app for a restaurant, an appointment app for a salon. That kind of thing can really help them gain traction by making themselves more convenient and easy to do business with. So that's one of the things I've seen really pay off. In terms of social media marketing, we see a lot of smaller business owners who maybe don't devote enough time to do a really solid job of improving their digital presence on social. So that can be a conversation about, okay, you the business owner, maybe that's not your sweet spot. How can you get this done in an effective way? Here's some of the things you need to do, how to get it done. Is it hiring someone? Is it redeploying a staff member to take that over? But we continue to see that kind of thing where people are kind of trying their best, but maybe they don't post so much, and maybe they're not really figuring out a strategy or a plan behind what they're trying to accomplish with social.
So again, just to kind of reinforce, if a business owner knocks on your door or your counterparts in the Chicagoland or Milwaukee areas, is there a fee for this kind of assistance?
So no, we don't charge any kind of fee for business counseling, help with marketing, help with business plan. Really 99+% of what we do. Occasionally, if we have a really in-depth workshop that takes a half day or 2 half days, we might charge a little bit for something like that. But by and large, no. Services are at no charge. And right now, people's budgets are really tight. So I think that's helpful.
Great, thank you. And Erica, we do have an audience question for you, and it reads, some business owners are advised by their accountants to establish one entity to own the business and another to own the real estate, with the business entity leasing from the real estate entity. In reality, the business owner really owns the real estate. Would this tax-motivated arrangement be an obstacle to a 504 financing?
Not at all. We call that, typically you've got a corporation that owns the business and an LLC that holds the property. This is the way we usually see it. The LLC is what's called an eligible passive company by the SBA, and that LLC is the borrower, and then the business that's in the building also guarantees the note, and that's how we kind of get around they're leasing the space. It is important to note, though, that the SBA has a regulation, and they're really cracking down on this, that the LLC that's holding the property cannot collect more in rent from the operating company than is necessary to maintain it. So they can't be charging their own company $50,000 more a year than they need to. Do you see what I'm saying? So then it really does become income as a sidebar to the operating company. It's allowed, but only if truly it's being used as a pass-through for those legal reasons. And I would say 90% of our borrowers do exactly that.
Okay, great, thank you. So again, I invite the audience to use the Q&A button. And I would imagine that the two of you work very closely together. What advice do you give our audience and business owners and entrepreneurs? Where do they start? Should they see Lorri first or Erica first? Like, kind of what's the ideal starting point?
Well, it depends on where they're at, I would say, in their process. If they're an established business and they're looking to buy a new building or refinance a loan, they could come directly to me. But if it's a newer business, or if it's a business that's going to be expanding into a new facility, doubling their square footage, increasing employees, then really they're going to need to go to Lorri first, because she's going to help them make the projections for that, because chances are pretty good that their current cash flow would not cover that much of an influx in debt. So Lorri can assist them with creating realistic projections that can justify the purchase.
So you want them to be realistic. Okay. All right.
Yes, yes. Please, if there's anybody out there that is starting a business or expanding a business, please seek assistance with your projections before you go to a bank or to anyone for lending. The SBDC is, no charge, so that's an excellent option. If not, maybe your CPA will help you if that's something that they do. But the last thing you want to do is walk into a financial institution with projections that say you're going to make $10 million the first year. They will laugh you out of the office. So if you can go in and say, I worked with my CPA or the SBDC on these projections, that will take you so much further.
Great advice. Lorri, anything to add to that?
I put in the chat some links to the Wisconsin and Illinois SBDC websites. So I hope you'll investigate my counterparts over the border. And however any of us can help, we're here to help small businesses get through this period and really expand and thrive from here.
Well, it's 2 o'clock, and once again, our 30-minute discussion went by very quickly. I'm grateful, Lorri and Erica, that you joined us today and you shared such important information. We will post this conversation to the ccac.org website. We'll post it on YouTube, and we'll also share the link with the audience so that if you want to watch it again or share with people that you think may find this conversation helpful, please do. So with that, we will have another webinar focused with an Indiana stakeholder next week, the new leader of one region. And the following week, we're turning our attention to the downtown Chicago Loop area. So watch your emails and register. Thank you for your support. Enjoy this beautiful day. Stay well, stay strong, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you so much, Erica and Lorri. Stay well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.